Welcome back to the TwinSpiresJury. I'm Ashley Anderson here with James, Scully, and Darin Zoc to talk our best bets and fades of the week at Fairgrounds, Turfway, Oaklawn for its opening weekend and more. And James, Darin, good to see you. I just got back from New York. Didn't make it quite in time for the rims in where Dornock beat me. So I guess I'm glad I missed it. But it's another week, chance to do better this week. And Darin, I'll let you start things off today. Tell us what your best bet of the week is this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my favorite winter track, Turfway Park, on Saturday night. They got a nice stakes race there, the My Charmer for 125,000 for the fillies and mares. And I like a price horse in number 4, Community Adjusted. This mare has been racing almost exclusively on turf. She's done really well. She had a really strong allowance win at Pimlico back in June, ran third in a minor stake race at Laurel. Then tried the Violet at Monmouth, and something went amiss that day where she simply just did not run her best race. Went back to Presque Isle for a synthetic try, and I thought that was a pretty solid effort when she had to move from a wide spot in the stretch, and she was picking up horses late. She's working well for Arnold Delacroix, who usually sends live runners over to Turfway whenever he does ship one in. They're putting the blinkers on here, so maybe looking to get this one a little bit closer early on, but I do think there's plenty of pace signed on here to set things up nicely for her. It's a pretty contentious field, to be sure. A horse like Katisha, where inside is going to take a lot of money, but is coming in off of a 7-month layoff. Lexa is coming in off an entry-level allowance win, but has not been facing this type of competition. And Moofy's coming in from Woodbine, the Woodbine synthetic performers. You would think that that translates automatically to the Turfway synthetic, but they haven't really done particularly well the last couple of meets. So I do think there is an opportunity at a price. So, James, I'm going to try Community Adjusted at that nice 10-1 in the My Charmer.
Yeah, I like it. I like those odds, and I could see your points completely. That she had definitely been a very nice turf runner, and I think she'll continue to run well in synthetics. My best bet of the week is number 6, Coastal Charm in the Mistletoe Stakes at Oaklawn Park on Saturday. This 4-year-old filly came to Oaklawn last winter off of a brief freshening, and I thought she ran extremely well. In fact, the best races of her career were a trio of allowance performances. She won a pair of allowances, and she ran a close 4th in a stakes quality race that was won by Shotgun Hottie, who won the Molly Pitcher and other stakes as well. So Coastal Charm has been freshened in advance of this start. She has a sharp half-mile work over the refurbished Oaklawn racing strip. I expect her to continue to run well in the local oval. And the fact is, she just ran well 2 starts back. I thought that was a very sharp performance, winning the Iowa Distaff Stakes at by Open Lens at Prairie Meadows. And I expect to see Coastal Charm. She'll be prominent from the break, I expect, coming off the freshening, and I'm going to give her the edge in the Mistletoe Stakes on Saturday, Ashley.
Yeah, I like that pick. I really liked the way she ran that Iowa Distaff, and I'll be talking about the horse to fade in that race as well in our next segment. But for my best bet, I'm going number 7, Undercover Girl at 4-1 in race 11 at Fairgrounds on Saturday. It's the 6 furlong Louisiana Champions Day Lassie Stakes. It drew a field of 13, and there's a lukewarm morning line favorite in number 11, Clearly a Test, who's coming off a win in a stakes for state bred fillies at Fairgrounds on November 17th. But her 83 Brisnet speed figure is just slightly above the debut figure for Undercover Girl. And I think Undercover Girl has a chance to step forward here. She's a Nyquist filly out of Congrats Mare, and she's trained by Brad Cox, a 27% winner with horses coming off a maiden win, and a 24% winner in non-graded stakes. She also has a sharp workout on December 3rd and a high percentage jockey in Corey Lannery retaining the mount. So I'm going Undercover Girl at 4-1. Not sure if I'll get that price with it being a Brad Cox runner, but like her chances here in her second career start.
Yeah, I think a lot of her price depends on, James, what they do with Guitar Solo, because she ran a monster race in the debut at Delta where she freaked in the slop with a 92 Brisnet speed figure. Cox is always going to attract wagering dollars, but it wouldn't shock me at all with a 14-length victory in a maiden debut if some people start to throw some dollars Guitar Solo's way, especially being by Star Guitar as well in the Louisiana bred event.
Yeah, I mean, Star Guitar, Fairgrounds legend, but Louisiana legend, but I think it's encouraging. You don't see a lot of Cox runners come back off of a 3-week or less rest, and he's running Undercover Girl right back in that spot. My best fade of the weekend is number 11, Up on the Edge, in the 3rd race at Turfway Park on Saturday. this 2-year-old filly, she's been well supported in all 5 career starts. She was favored at first asking, has been the favorite in three times. And she's like the finishing kick in all 5 starts. I mean, she's turned in some respectable performances, grabbing some placings, but the fact remains, Up on the Edge has lost ground in the stretch in her last 4 outings. I think that this race came up competitive. There's several rivals that could run well in this full field, this main special weight event. So I am going to fade Up on the Edge in race 3 at Turfway on Saturday, Darin.
I had 2 fades at Turfway. You picked one of them. I totally agree with Up on the Edge. Second against Torpedo Anna, where she was actually favored against Torpedo Anna. And I couldn't agree more. She's not the type of a price play that the short price play that I would want here. I ended up on the 6. What's to Do is my fade in race number 6 at Turfway. 9-5 morning line. She's first time off the claim for Steve Asmussen. Asmussen is struggling to start this Turfway meet. He has not hit the board in 7 tries going into this week. And first time off the claim for Asmussen is not a profitable betting angle. He only wins at an 18% clip, minus 29% return on investment. The horse is 1 for 11, has never been on synthetic. You can certainly argue that the dirt races are better than turf, which you could be inclined to then maybe say that synthetic might not be the preferred surface for this 4-year-old filly. I understand it's big connections. Machado can't do anything wrong to start the meet. 9 for 19 coming into this week. I get that. I just think the price is going to be way too short compared to the likelihood of this filly winning. So What's to Do? Number 6 in race number 6 is a stone cold fade for me at 9-5 on the morning line, Ashley.
I like it. I was kind of interested in number 1, Wild Irish at 15-1 for Eric Reed. Think it has a chance there, and think I'm going to play it. Who do you have? Do you have a horse that you're leaning toward in this race?
Yeah, I'm actually against both favorites because Jennifer My Love is the other chalk who's coming off a win at Kentucky Downs, and the Kentucky Downs horses have not really done particularly well. I'm more inclined to try the Eddie Keneally horse that's first time off the claim and In Color. I know tried synthetic race early on in her career, but she was just completely blitzed from the start, asked to show speed and tired. She's been a better filly of late. She's 3rd race back off the form cycle, first off the claim for Keneally, which is a 23% angle. Declan Cannon riding very well and is actually dropping from 40,000 at Churchill down to 30. So for me, of the logical runners, I thought In Color was the better play.
Certainly good pick there too. And I'm going with number 10, Ice Orchid over in the Mistletoe Stakes, which James mentioned Coastal Charm as his best bet. And Ice Orchid, super saver 4-year-old, returning to Oaklawn, where she's 1 for 7 for her career. She's cutting back to a mile as well, and she's 0 for 4 from that distance. She was second twice at a mile, and then most recently 4th in the 1-mile groupie doll. Her only win at Oaklawn came in February 2022 when she broke her maiden at 1 1/16 of a mile. And she was also beaten by James pick Coastal Charm 4 back in the Iowa Distaff. And she came up short to Lovely Ride, the second choice on the morning line, twice at Oaklawn. So I don't like the morning line favorite here, pretty lukewarm at 7-2. And I'm also intrigued by Saddle Up Jessie, Brittany Russell horse, running here at 6-1. So I might play Coastal Charm and Saddle Up Jessie in an exacta in this race. What do you think, James? You like Saddle Up Jessie?
Oh, I agree with it. I'm on Community Adjusted. I didn't like Ice Orchid or Misty Vale, who I think will take some money off of those stakes efforts. She didn't run good in them, but she'll get like bet because she's maker and like seemingly dropping back down. But yeah, fair point. I didn't know what the morning line was going to be. I was surprised to see Ice Orchid favored, Ashley.
Yeah, same. I actually thought Misty Vale might have been the second choice on the morning line, but actually a third choice. So yeah, we'll see where the money comes in before this race. But before we move on to what else we're going to be watching for this weekend, Darin, tell us about any promos at TwinSpires.
Yeah, plenty going on. Oaklawn Park is kicking off with their meet. We're going to offer a late pick 5, hit it and split it there. That's going to take place every Saturday and Sunday, which starts on December the 9th, this coming Saturday. They're not racing this Sunday, but they are racing the other Sundays in December. So a late pick 5 at Oaklawn, $2,500, hit it and split it. The Gulfstream Park Daily Double Down will be every Saturday, 25% bonus on daily double winnings at Gulfstream Park. So be sure to be opted in there as they've gotten their championship meet underway. And we have another new promotion starting this week. We have a $3,000 leaderboard at Los Alamitos every Friday. I should say this weekend coming up, Friday, December the 8th through Sunday, December the 10th, $3,000 live leaderboard for the thoroughbred racing at Los Alamitos. So be sure to check that out as well. We have a full slate. I think we've got 9 or 10 offers up right now. So we're going to finish the year strong, Ashley.
And a Kentucky Oaks prep this weekend as well with the Starlet. So definitely check that out. And Darin, we'll stay with you. Tell us what else you're going to be watching for this weekend.
Yeah, the Gulfstream Park, as I mentioned, the championship meet is underway. So you're going to start to see some horses show up that are going to be players in the 3-year-old season. And there's a couple that I wanted to just mention. In race number 7, which is an entry-level allowance race for 2-year-olds, Safi Joseph is sending out Catalytic in there, who's the son of Catalina Cruiser, who could not have been more impressive winning his debut, going away by nearly 6 lengths, earning an 85 Brisnet speed figure rating that day. Remains to be seen how long this horse wants to go. He's got a bit of a miler's pedigree to him, does have distorted humor on the bottom, but this horse looked awfully good and certainly passed the eye test upon debut. So I'm definitely curious to see what he does stretching out to the mile here in race number 7 and to see if he is a potential horse to be on the lookout as we head to the Derby Trail at Gulfstream Park in January when it gets underway with races like the Holy Bull. And then in race number 11, it's the Pulpit Stakes on the turf for the 2-year-olds. There's a horse in there that's coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile by the name of Noted, who narrowly was defeated by a nose in the Grade 2 Bourbon. He won the Sapling Stakes at Monmouth, won a maiden special weight on the turf at Saratoga this past summer as well. He did not show up in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but Noted, worth noting, is going back to the turf in the Pulpit. And I think he's an interesting horse to pay attention to going into the 3-year-old turf division next year. So, James, kind of curious to see how those two performers do as they close out their 2-year-old campaigns.
Yeah, Catalytic Cruiser doesn't have a stakes horse yet, but yeah, definitely had some runners here in recent months, and maybe Catalytic will turn out to be a stakes type horse. For my what else, I'm going to go ahead and mention Noted, because that one of the things with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and Juvenile Turf is that Noted was cross-entered to both races, and I know he won the Sapling on turf, but he broke his maiden, I thought, very impressively at Saratoga on grass, and I thought that was a big second in the Bourbon Stakes. He finished the no second to Can Group, who had one of the most troubled trips of any horse in the Breeders' Cup. He was 11th at the top of the stretch. He gets beat 2 lengths on the wire. It was absolutely flying. I think he's going to be a really good 3-year-old turf stakes horse, and I think Noted will be as well. And I was surprised to see him in that juvenile turf because Rapoli, the owner, had Fierceness in the field, and Pletcher, who had Fierceness, also had Locked. And Noted was training with those two. They ran first and third in the juvenile, like you said, Darin. Noted was beat almost 35 lengths in last. I think he would have had a big chance. And one other thing I'll mention about that, Irad Ortiz Jr. was a regular rider on both Fierceness and Noted. And if Noted had gone to the juvenile turf, I don't see why he wouldn't have stayed on both horses. As a result, he stuck with Noted. John Velasquez, a 3-time Kentucky Derby winner, picked up the mount on Fierceness and looks like his regular rider moving forward. So that was a strange. I thought the juvenile turf was a logical spot. He didn't go there, and it seemingly caught Irad Ortiz, a really big, high-profile mount in the process. Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley, I was just going to add to that. That probably cost me a bit of money because I was on the fence about Fierceness, and I said, well, if Irad is getting off this horse to ride Noted here, I mean, what does he think of him? And then Fierceness goes out and wins the Breeders' Cup by 6 lengths and looks like an international good thing. So sometimes you just kind of have to take that stuff with a grain of salt, and quite often we find that out the hard way.
Yeah, I think I'll be kicking myself for a while, not backing Fierceness, especially at 16-1 in that race. Well, for me, my what else is over at Oaklawn, the other non-graded stakes on Saturday. It's the Ring the Bell Stakes for 3-year-olds and up at 6 furlongs. And you have Grade 3 Whitmore winner Tahano Twist, the 8-5 morning line favorite, just won a non-graded stakes at Churchill on November 4th with Chris Hartman. And also stablemate Necker Island is entered as well as Caddo River for D. Wayne Lucas. But the horse that I'm really interested to watch here is Rivet for Steve Asmussen. He won a Grade 3 back at Pimlico, and also coming off of winning the Steel Valley Sprint Stakes at Mahoning Valley, recorded a 101 Brisnet speed figure, the highest of the field last race speed figure. And he was out of form in 3 starts leading up to that win, but he's shipping back to Oaklawn where he's 3 for 4, and he's also 5 for 7 at 6 furlongs. And he has Keith Asmussen aboard, who is unbeaten from 4 starts with Rivet. So not getting a great price there at 2-1, but definitely excited to see him run. I actually had him pegged in that Grade 3 at Pimlico. So hoping to see he gets a win here over Tahano Twist as well.
It's interesting. That'll be Rivet's first start against older horses. He's been pretty well. He reeled off like 4 or 5 wins in a row earlier this year. Once he broke his maiden, got a little bit exposed, I thought, at Saratoga and then in a couple stakes efforts. But that was a nice win last time at Mahoning Valley. He beat Damon's Mound, who was coming into that race in real good form. So looks like he's back on the right track for Steve Asmussen.
Yeah, Tejano's Twist might be returning to his favorite track. He had a great winner there last year. The only thing I worry about with Tejano Twist at a short price there is I don't think there's that much speed in here. Sir Wellington's got some speed. Rivet's got a little bit of speed. Top Gunner, a little bit of speed. But there's nothing here that's going to set up, I think, Tejano Twist for his huge late rally the way he likes. But we'll see. But Tejano Twist, horse for the course for sure. So he's going to get a lot of play there, Ashley.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today. And Darin, real quick, Blaze, our producer, wanted me to remind you of HKIR night to make sure you stay up late to watch that. We got 4 Group 1 races.
We have an offer there too,
Sunday, right?
Yeah, we got a $10 money bag offer on Hong Kong Shots In for their big event, no question.
Yeah, so be sure to check that out and all those promos as well at TwinSpires.com or the TwinSpires app. And we'll be back next Thursday with more best bets and fades of the week.